Hi, and welcome back to the Worsted Willow Podcast. This is episode 8, and I'm so excited to be here. I feel like so much has happened in the last 2 weeks since filming, and I have a lot of new projects to share, so very excited. If you're new here, I'm Emma. I'm a knitter and crocheter, and this is my little corner of YouTube where I like to share all of my current projects, finished objects, thoughts on knitting and crocheting in general, and all the fun stuff with yarn. So you can also find me on Instagram and Ravelry at Worsted Willow if you want to stay up to date on pictures of my projects and any sort of notes about my projects that I might not cover in detail here or you want to go back and check out later for yourself. So it's been 2 weeks since I last filmed a podcast, and since then I have hit 200 subscribers, which is very exciting. I actually hadn't even hit 100 last time I filmed, so I'll be doing a little giveaway with this episode and just wanted to kind of go over that in the beginning so then I can just focus on the podcast after. So since this is kind of like celebrating reaching 100 and 200 subscribers in one video, I will be choosing 2 winners, and the giveaway will be a gifted pattern on Ravelry. So rules to entry: just comment down below the pattern you're most looking forward to making in 2023, and I'll choose winners from the comments and gift you whatever pattern you're most looking forward to making. So I think this is really great because it can be, there's no shipping involved, so it can be open internationally. I've seen a few other YouTubers do it, and I can't remember their names right now because I was just watching their videos and was like, that's a good idea, and didn't expect to be using it myself. So that will be the giveaway for this week, and it will close when I film for my next podcast, which will be 2 weeks from today, and that is, I believe, January 3rd. So it's a Tuesday, whatever that Tuesday, first Tuesday of January is. So that is the giveaway, and thank you guys so much for all of your support the last couple weeks. It's been really crazy to get so many new faces around here, and I'm very excited for continuing to build out a little community of yarn lovers. So now I'll get started with my projects. So first off, I have finished objects for you guys. So the first I'm currently wearing, and that is my Easy V by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knits, and it's done. So as I've mentioned in previous podcast episodes, this was part of a make-along that I was doing with my local yarn store, Nina Chicago, and it was so fun to get to like hang out with other knitters every Saturday. It was one of the things I look forward to every week. So I'm a little sad that there's going to be a few weeks off, but there'll be a spring one starting soon, so that will be exciting. But this is the finished object. I did make a few alterations, but I'll talk about yarn first. So I used Blue Sky fibers in their base wool stock, which is a 2-ply 100% fine Heinlein wool. And then the colors are Driftwood was the main color, Pressed Grapes for the dark purple, Highland Fleece for the white, and Lilac Bloom for the lighter purple. So you can also find all of that on my Ravelry. And then I did make some modification. So the main modification I made, besides just like a little bit of length changes in the body, was in the sleeves. So for her pattern online, it's a straight sleeve with color work and then like a scrunched cuff. And I realized when I was knitting the body that my gauge was really, really loose, and I'm a tiny person, so for the sleeves they were going to be massive. So you can see here like how tall the sleeves would have been. So I did some math at like 7 a.m. and decided to taper the sleeves, but I still have a good amount left where there's a scrunch. And then I didn't have enough of my colors left, so I didn't do color work, and instead I did like a big 4-inch, 3 to 4 inch cuff, just to give something a little bit more visually interesting. And it's still like a little long, but not as long as the sample she has on Ravelry. So overall, very happy with how this turned out. It's my first 100% wool sweater that I've made for myself. I made one for my fiance, but all the sweaters I've made for myself have been acrylic or cotton bases. So actually I did make a wool shirt, but it was like a t-shirt, so I don't have any wool sweaters. And it's very warm. Overall, very happy with it. I'm not super used to this neckline. It's kind of slouchy and slides over the place. And then when I first put it on, I was like expecting more warmth around my neck because I like kind of those double brim necklines, and so this one is not super warm around the neck, but that's okay. I still love it, and it's a really good wear around the house casual sweater. So very excited to finally have it done, and it kind of is opening up my needles for other big projects, which is exciting. I have one more finished object. With Sockmas wrapping up, I got my second pair of socks done. So these are DRK Everyday Socks, and they are in Dream in Color Pop-Up Club. Ooh, throwing my labels. Dream in Color Pop-Up Club. Yes, Miss Willow? My cat just went to the bathroom, and now she's sprinting and yelling through the house. So Dream in Color Pop-Up Club, and it's her December 2021 on the smushy cashmere base. So last year's colorway, bought it last year in December and just hadn't used it, and then I was like, perfect timing to use a nice December colorway, plus they kind of match my sweater. So I've been wearing these a ton, and then the contrast color is left over from my MCOW, and it is Northern Bee Studios in this sturdy sock base in Wine on the Dock. So those are the two colors used in this. And I finished 2 pairs of socks for Sockmas, both DRK Everyday Socks. And I'm really excited because I just like doubled the number of socks I had for myself. I technically have, I think, 5 pairs I've made for myself now. But one of the pairs has a hole in the ball of the foot, so I can't really wear them generally. I'm actually wearing them now, but just with my slippers. I don't wear them out and about anymore. So I have 4 socks that I wear more generally, and my favorites so far have been the DRK Everyday. Highly recommend the pattern. It was great, and it uses a Flegel heel, which was super, super easy to knit. So definitely recommend that. Yeah. That is all of my finished objects for this week, but one big project and one little small project. Also all for me. So, as you'll see in the next few projects, I have a lot of gift knitting that I'm currently working on, and it is actually all knitting. I thought I was going to have some crochet, but some things didn't want to cooperate, so it's all knitting right now, and I'm feeling a little stressed about getting it done. For context, it is Tuesday, December 20th. Most of the gifts I'm giving are on Christmas Eve, so I have 4 days to finish these. So I need all the good vibes over here. So the first gift knit, I think I've shown quite a few times at this point, is a Musselburgh. Oops, I'm dropping stitches. This yarn really just likes to fall off the needles, and I need to put needle stoppers on it. So this is the Musselburgh. Okay, it's definitely looking longer than last time. I can't remember exactly where I was last time. I think somewhere in here or here, but there's a good 2 to 3 inches more on this hat. So this is going to be my travel project. We're going to a wedding, so I'll bring this with in the car. And yeah, this has been a travel project or like video game break project, and it's just slowly but surely getting done, and I know that if I just dedicate some time to it, all will be good. So not too worried, but starting to freak out a little bit about it. And this is, so it's Musselburgh pattern by YSOLDA TEAGUE, and it is using a Zauberball Crazy fingering weight, which is the 75% virgin wool, 25% nylon. So they don't really give colors, and I don't know what happened to my labels, so I don't know what number it is, but I will put that in the description box and on Ravelry. That's my first gift knit. Not too much to say about it. You guys have seen it before, and seen lots of Musselburghs by me. So the next project has been a bit of a doozy. I got yarn last year to make my fiance's mom and sister some mittens, and that never ended up happening. So I'm now trying to do that this year, and I have yarn under my tripod. So I have 3 colors. I have a purple, a white, and a pink. So you can see I've used a lot of the pink. And it's all Manos del Uruguay in the Maxima base. I believe the white is La Perla. The pink is Peach Blossom. And the purple is, oh nope, this is La Perla. And this is natural. That's what it is. Yeah, so at first I crocheted a couple pairs of mittens last year, and I've never done knitted mittens. So I was like, I'll crochet them pretty quick. Did them last year. It'll be all good. And at first I was going to do like a pink and white pair for his mom, for his sister, and then like a purple and white pair for his mom. And so if you guys watched my gift patterns video, I mentioned the MOSAIC crochet mittens, the MODISH MOSAIC crochet mittens by I guess MJ's Off the Hook. I'll put the right designer under here though. And so this was how far I had gotten, and I just realized that it was going to be a little more involved than I expected. So the mosaic crochet in the round was relatively easy, but when you get to the thumb hole you have to start working flat, but to keep the pattern the same you actually work flat, and you like cut the yarn and then go back to the beginning, do the next color, cut the yarn, go back to the beginning for like a little bit. And I'm just in a rush. If I wasn't in a rush, it would be completely fine. It was relatively easy pattern, and I really like how it's turning out, and it feels like it's gonna be such a warm mitten since it is mosaic crochet, but I just couldn't deal with it, and I haven't ripped it out yet because I'm lazy and I'm just gonna work from the other side of the ball. So then next I was like, okay. So then Daniel asked me also if I could make his aunt a pair of mittens. So now I'm looking at 3 pairs of mittens, 1 pink, 1 purple, 1 white. So next I found this braided cable crochet pattern. I forget who the designer is now, but I will link it below as well. And I was like, these are going great. I like them. But then I had just done the thumb hole. You see here, like I had just gotten to the thumb hole, and these are 100-gram balls, and I was already like 40 grams into it, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting an entire mitten out of 50 grams. So that got scrapped, and then I was like, okay, if I'm doing 3 different mittens, I just cannot crochet them because there's not enough yarn. So then I looked up knitting patterns, and I did start doing a knitted cabled. The pattern I bought had hand-drawn charts, and I'm already not the biggest fan of cabling, so I was like, this isn't happening. So I made it 2 rows into the chart and was like, nope. And then finally I figured out the pattern I'm going to do. I found it on Etsy actually, and it is the Snow Bobble Mitts by BLUEBIRD Pine Shop, and this is where I'm at with the first mitten. So just finished the body and have the little thumb hole. And I started these during lunch today, so they knit up very quickly, which is exciting. I think I'm going to try to do, I have a lot of barber cords, so I think I'm just going to try to do all the bodies and then do all the thumbs at the same time. Yeah, so this is the first pink one, and then I'm going to go on to the purple and the white. But my goodness, this is stressing me out. I'm already on a time crunch, and then none of the patterns decided they wanted to cooperate. So, but that one's good. It's like 95% stockinette, just the little bobbles, and there's only like a few stitches that are bobbles, and then the ribbing. So, and it's all stockinette on the back. I just did them a magic loop. Super easy, and because this is like a single ply yarn, they're so soft and squishy. So I'm very happy with how they're turning out, and I think I'll be able to get all 3 pairs done. Getting all 3 pairs done and the Musselburgh is where it's going to be more challenging. But that's my second gift knit project. I have one more gift knit project, which actually, I'm not knitting for everyone in my life. I knitted for some other people last year, and so I'm prioritizing people I didn't get to last year and the people most important to me. So, also my mom and dad both have birthdays in October, so they typically get their gift knits then, and then I'll get them something else for Christmas, which makes it a little bit easier. So the last project, this one is definitely not getting done before Christmas, but it will be a present, a holiday present at one point, and that is the Paw Socks by ANDREA MOWRY. So they're the same as the DRK Everyday Socks, but they're made for a DK weight. So for this one, I'm holding 2 fingering weight yarns together, and I thought these would be really fun to hold together because they felt kind of like inverses. So this one is Up North Yarns, and the colorway is It's Very Plaid Today. It is 75% superwash, 25% nylon. And then the other one, I can't tell you the brand because the entire thing's in German and I don't know how to read the second word. So it's the Super Sock platin color. And it's just number 2318. But this is 100% virgin, or 75% virgin wool, 25% merino. So they're both the 75-25, but superwash and virgin wool, which I was a little bit worried about at first, but I think it's such a good, like the superwash tones down the virgin wool, and the virgin wool gives it more of a rustic feeling compared to the superwash without it being like a full DK weight virgin wool. So I'm very happy with how these are turning out, and I think the marling looks so cool because they both are like gray and red variegation, but this one is definitely brighter and has more like whites, where this one is way more black. And so sometimes you get stitches where it's like all black or all red, but for the most part you're getting variations, and I just think it looks really cool so far. So this one is definitely not getting done before the holidays, but it will be a priority after I finish the mittens and the Musselburgh. This will be my main travel project, so it will get done probably before New Year's or around New Year's. So not like a super late holiday project. And then moving away from gift knits, I mentioned last week that I had a lot of sweaters, and I finished this sweater, and I still have the same number of sweaters on the needles because I started another one. So I finished the sweater, which was a big relief, and I'm almost done with my test knit for MELANIE ROUNTREE Stitchery, and that is for the Anne sweater adult version. So I am making this in Malabrigo Rios in the color Sandbank, which is like this really lovely purpley gray color. And I finished the body. So it looks really weird because it's meant to stretch out. And also I did some shaping. So let's see, where is my yarn? So I had just finished a ball of yarn last time. I think I did all of the waist shaping, the ribbing with the little curly, and then I picked up and did the curly at the top. So I have done both vertical bust darts and waist shaping, and I think this will block out a little bit. But it looks really good on, it's very fitted. I did one less waist shaping round repeat than I had calculated out, just because I wanted it to be more cropped, and I should have just calculated using less length, but I didn't think of it. But I did do a little bit longer rib, so it only called for like 1.5, and I think I did 2 to 2.5, just because I really wanted it to be all a very similar length to this ribbing. And now I need to get 9-inch circulars to do the sleeves, because there is short rows to make the puffs. So, and I don't want to do short rows on Magic Loop. So I want to get circulars. So that one's kind of on pause also until I finish my gift knits, but I should have this one done hopefully by the next podcast also. I kind of wanted to get it done for Christmas Eve and wear it as like a Christmas Eve sweater, because this one's a little more casual, cozy, more like Christmas morning, and this one could have been like my fancier one, but I don't see that happening anymore, which is sad. But maybe if I get through the mittens really quickly, then I can do that. But yeah, that one was mostly basic knitting. Waist shaping was pretty easy. I just did 2 decreases right along the underarm, right in the center of the underarm, to shape the waist. Okay, so the next sweater is my new cast on, and I'm very, very excited about it. And it was not something I was intending to cast on. Like, I had no plans. This wasn't in my queue or in my library already or anything. And I was at knit group, and they got new Zauberball crazies in. So this is the sport weight, which is 100% merino superwash. So it's definitely softer than the fingering weight. And the yarn is named after me. Not named after me, but it has my name in it. It's Tante Emma, which means Aunt Emma in German. And it's just such a fun color. I have 2 of them. This one's a lot more pink and purple. This is going to be the one I'm starting with. But like, it's too fun not to. And the pattern I'm doing, I'm a little late to the bandwagon here because it's months after Rhinebeck, but I'm going to be doing the Alpenglow by ANDREA MOWRY. So I found that yarn and I immediately like kind of knew I wanted to do the Alpenglow because I really loved seeing everyone's variation of it. And so I walked around the yarn store until I found all the yarn that I would need for it. So I started with this, and then I decided I wanted to go with this gray base because there's a lot of like little gray flecks in some of this, and if you look at like where I'm starting on this one, there's a lot of gray. So I got this gray, which is Movers and Makers, which is a Nina exclusive, and it's flat iron gray. So these are all named after like Chicago. So that's my main color. For the collar, I wanted to go with a white. I don't think I've seen a lot of Alpenglows that use a lighter collar with a darker body. There's a few, but I don't think I've seen white for the collar at all, which I think is very interesting. Also Movers and Makers Sport Base, and this is Winter on Hoyne, so good little winter sweater. And then for the mohair, I got this absolutely gorgeous deep purple color, and this is Shibui Knits Silk Cloud in Velvet. So this is all of them together, and just, I love this combo so much. It gives me very me vibes. I'm obviously in a purple moment with my knitting, so this mohair just like screamed me, plus all the purple that's in this, and I do love a good pink also. So this is where I'm at so far. I did not get super far, but I'm about to add in, do stranded color work with my marled yarn. So you don't knit the collar, you pick up later. So this is what it looks like so far, but I absolutely love this color work mohair, and it's so soft right there. So very excited to be working on this, and it's kind of on pause right now because there's way too much going on with gift and test knits, so this will be a comfort project once I have a little less on my plate. But very excited to be working on it, and someone should not let me spend that much on yarn on a project I did not have planned, but it's fine, it's fine. My knitting friends talked me into it, so it's all good. And then the last sweater I have, you guys already saw. There's no project progress on it, kind of similar to the Alpenglow. This will be very much a hibernating project until I have more energy to devote to it, and that is my Cargill. So no progress on it, but just want to remember that it's here. So this is my Cargill in its baby stages. And I will be coming back to deal with this one later. So one last flip that I started this week, if that wasn't enough projects already. This one is totally a comfort project. It's something that I wanted to have started a while ago, but just never knew exactly what I wanted to do for it, and yeah, just, I don't know. I got inspired by watching Vlogmas, so I've been watching a lot of Vlogmas recently, and one that really, like, I was like, I want to do that is, now that I've been knitting for a little over a year, I've started to accumulate a lot of scraps, especially fingering weight scraps, because I knit a lot of scarves, or not scarves, I don't knit a lot of scarves, I haven't knit a scarf, I've crocheted scarves. Since I knit a lot of socks, I have a lot of fingering weight scraps, and so I started a granny stripe scrappy blanket in the manner that Knitty Natties is crocheted up in. I made a couple changes to what she's doing, but she is basing her pattern off of an Attic 84 blog post / pattern, but I'm following her modifications for fingering weight yarn that she has posted on her project page. So this is it, and my main change that I'm doing compared to what she's doing is she's doing either 1 or 2 rows of each color, and I like the idea of like fully using up my scraps, so I'm just go until I run out, and then I'm going to tie magic knots to, or I've already started doing that, I'm tying magic knots to join the yarn, so you can see like where I've started joining. But that way, like, some of these yarns, like this yarn here, this white, didn't even have 10 grams of it. I think I had 5 or 6. And so it's just a little baby stripe in there. It's not even the full, like look how much it's not in. But it's there. And then there's some ones, like this one from my Moon of My Life sweater that's got like 5 rows in it. And I just kind of like the inconsistency. Also, it's massive, but it was so enjoyable to start working on. I just like sat down for an evening. I like started it, and then the next evening I sat down and watched like 3 rom-coms right in a row and just worked on this for hours. I would just reach into my yarn bowl, grab out a random yarn. So like right now I have some leftover MCal yarn I'm working in, which was my Winslow. And yeah, I've been stuffing it into this really cute little ceramic yarn bowl, which I'm going to be kind of sad when it gets too big to stuff into this, but I've still put my scraps in it. And it's just been really enjoyable, very relaxing to work on. I probably won't have too much time to work on it in the next couple weeks, but I hope it's something going into the new year I can continue to build up. I think I'll also throw sport weight scraps now that I'm working some with sport weight, but I don't think I'll go any higher than that. So, but yeah, that is my whips. That was a very long whip section. So, lots of stress, lots of fun over here. Yeah, no acquisitions that I haven't already covered. The yarn for my Alpenglow was my main acquisition, and I got a few extra little things. I got a little thimble for stranded color work if you knit Continental that I need to try out when I start my stranded color work in my Alpenglow. I got some needle stoppers that I need to put on stuff, and those are my main acquisitions. So nothing really in there. I've been opening my Firefly Advent, but I think I'll just do a wrap up of that in my next podcast. So, also no big podcast updates besides the giveaway, like I said. I did have one video released since last podcast, which is a resource video for newer knitters and crocheters. So it's not a tutorial on like how to knit or how to crochet. It's just kind of things that I used when I was teaching myself how to knit and crochet. So it's a lot of links to my favorite channels that provide tutorials that I found to be the most helpful in how they explain things, different books that I've also found helpful as references, and then also like tools, so hooks and needle sets that I found very accessible and easy to use with as a beginner, because sometimes buying the cheapest hook you can find, or especially with like knitting needles and interchangeable sets, just like there's some that are not comfortable to use in my opinion, and then if you're not having fun with your tools, you're not going to have fun with the projects. So, and then some general tips of like more mentality and other general resources that are out there. So definitely check that out if you're starting out, and hopefully you can find some good info in there. Also, before I go into just more general talk, don't forget to comment below if you want to enter the giveaway for a pattern of your choice to be gifted on Ravelry. So super excited to see what patterns people are planning to knit or crochet in 2023. Also hoping I get some ideas for myself, because I would love to have some more patterns in my queue. So, but if you're not wanting to stay around for the life stuff, thank you for coming. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to get notifications for when I put out my next video. But yeah, not too much in the life category. I haven't really done a lot. Last podcast was kind of my crazy one with holiday parties and stuff like that. This is kind of my calm before the storm of holiday travel and seeing family. So not too much. I spent a lot of time watching rom-coms and Vlogmas. I've just been trying to get as much time on the couch knitting as I can before it gets crazy. I've also started up listening to my audiobooks again, so I've been going through the Bridgerton series, and I had gone through, I typically do like 2 or 3 book spurts with it. They're like 12 to 13 hours audiobooks, but I had started Francesca's, which is When He Was Wicked, and I just had a really hard time with the beginning. My anxiety was kind of high, and it starts out with some pretty intense stuff. So I wasn't really able to get into it, but I'm going back to it and I'm doing better with it now. So I'm happy to be moving along in that series. So I have that book and then 2 more left in the series, and I know there's a ton of spin-offs, so I can really go deep with the Bridgerton series if I want to, which is exciting. And then lots of crazy travel coming up this weekend. If you're in the Midwest, you know there's a giant winter storm coming, and it's going to be hitting right when I'm supposed to do all my driving, which is Thursday night and Friday morning. So hopefully it's not as bad as they say it's going to be, or if need be, travel can be rearranged or whatever needs to happen for that. But that's been a big stress point recently, so hoping that it's not too crazy. And then last, I guess this is a little knitting thing, but I do have one more test knit coming up that I just found out that I applied to, and they just announced who the test knitters are going to be, so very excited for that. It's the Good Willow pullover by, her Instagram handle is Intention Al, so definitely check it out. Pattern will be releasing in February. Very excited to test that. It's going to be a very different construction than I worked before, so I'm excited. Plus it has both cables and color work on it, so I think it'll be really, really pretty to have in my collection. So that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for sitting with me and talking, and I hope you all have a really great holiday and stay safe and warm and get lots of knitting done. So bye.